managed to have a few brief chats with some people, and that's been really nice. But not on camera, because it feels like, you know, this is a very personal and private thing. And it is funny, the minute you sort of whip a camera out, people are like, so anyway, it's just, yeah, it's really amazing to see everybody interpreting the landscape differently, and we've still got a few more hours, but I'm gonna go warm up and get a coffee. Found a new spot, and I've also talked to some people, and I'm going to challenge myself to just do something big. I met a girl who was doing the most ginormous piece, huge thing, out on the grass, and I thought, come on Harriet, you're not scared of a little bit of scale, are you? And then I thought, yes I am. And then I thought, no I'm not. It is very perfect, this garden. I think it's designed by Gertrude Heichel, and that's the only trouble when you're trying to be sketchy and things, is you want to give yourself a good sort of scaffolding. So this is what I'm looking at. You've got the house in the background, but I might be able to fit in little bits of it. But it's this tree here which I think is quite interesting, and then I've got this perspective line as well. I've got one of my Fumui travel brushes that I'm trying out, and I've just made some very dilute washes of some of the sort of grey stones and sort of greener tones, and my challenge to myself is to paint only in very dilute, simple strokes, not to get bogged down in detail. It's exactly what they were telling us at the beginning, because detail can come later, but I've seen a lot of people doing some very nice sort of slow work, and I'm not much of a slow painter. And it's warming up, which is lovely as well. And we can just see what we can get with much more slow-paced work. When I say slow-paced, I'm not sort of saying that you can't sort of be energetic with your strokes and things, but it's just not worrying about having a finished piece, or getting everything painted so you can get the detail going as well. It's just not about that. It's about observing, allowing especially with watercolour, allowing the simplicity of the stroke to create what you're looking for. And then you often surprise yourself. So we've got a landscape artist here who's going to do a demo, and I've just heard him talking, so I think what I'm going to do is leave my bits and pieces and go up and just listen, and then I can come back down and carry on with all the new knowledge that I have acquired.
And then I think actually, because there's sort of quite a few sort of yellows in the grasses, I can go a little bit more yellow as I come to this very foreground. Okay, so I've done my sky. I've got this sort of puddle of paint here that's going to be my sky colour. I might come back to that a little bit later. It's a little bit washy. But now what I can start doing is I can start adding in some little bit of blue, a little bit of magenta. It's just sort of a dark grey colour. I'm using all this old paint to sort of grey it down quite a lot. And so when you've got like sort of big flat layers like this, it's quite nice to sort of start, even if you're sort of sometimes making it up.
So he's called Ben Lovering, and look him up online, but he uses watercolour in quite a sort of thicker way, slightly more gouache. It's really interesting what he's doing. But I need to carry on with my piece. So what I thought was really cool about Ben, now I can talk a bit more loudly, is how he's using watercolour that bit more thickly, like gouache, and doing underpainting with it. So starting off with a lovely sort of set of warm brown washes and lemon yellows and all that kind of thing, and then he was placing all his cool shades on top with a little bit of white gouache in the watercolour, and then starting to scratch away. And it's a style that is really different to mine, and that's the whole point of these days, is to come and see people do different things. And I imagine at some point I will try that different thing. Of course, recently my different thing is calligraphy pen. I've literally only just started getting into that. And that's the beauty of creating and doing art, is especially doing art with people, is little things rub off on you, little things sort of spark that little bit of excitement. You go, oh, I might try that. And it might also mean new art supplies, which I know many of you are very big fans of. But I'm going to carry on with what I was intending to do with my piece. I've got some lunch, so I'm going to have that first. But I'm feeling inspired and feeling just constantly reminded that there's so much more out there to try, which is really, really good when you paint for a living, because sometimes you can get into the habit of thinking, oh, have I come to the end of the road with my creativity? And the very happy answer is no, not even the slightest bit. So I've got the tree and not worrying about an ugly stage. I'm finding that using one of my larger brushes, albeit it's one of the pointed rounds, is working nicely, because at least I can sort of go big if I want, or go small, go home. And I'll be able to put in the branches and things. So I'm actually quite happy with that. I thought it was going to be horrible, but it's not. So another reminder, just keep the faith. And I need to do something about this area down here. But on the whole, I'm quite happy with this general challenge, I suppose, that I've given myself. And I can put in a little bit of the house up there at the top. So I'm still using washes. Maybe just knock it back a tiny bit. It's an interesting colour, the house. It's kind of like a dirty peach colour, which feels like exactly what I've got there. So just pop that in there. It's got these funny bricks down the side of it. Got a window. I'm really excited to see what everyone's done. And do you know what? This is so useful, a reminder for me to remember how nerve-wracking it can be if you feel remotely anxious about sharing your work with people about it being good enough, because I'm really painting stuff that I'm not that sort of into or confident with, but I'm here and I am trying my best, so that's good enough. Emergency rations. Powered by the cream egg. I'm going to get these last bits done. I am a bit cold though. And then I want to get a bit of a scribble on. A numb bum again, so I've come up to have a closer look at this amazing little Acer maple tree because it's in my picture, and I did suspect that it was a mixture of a sort of green gold and an alizarin crimson, and I was right. So that's exactly what I put together to get the colours, and yeah, it's worked rather well. It is a bit cold, and if you've got not brilliant circulation like me, I've got rather numb fingers, so it's always good to have a bit of a wander around and a bit of a wiggle. So I've actually resisted the urge to get the calligraphy pen out. I think it's important not to get too excited with this new tool and rely on the skills that I've been developing prior to that. And also, I think the one thing about the calligraphy tool is it's quite a fun and quick bit of gratification, whereas just slowly building up the glazes with watercolour really does it does reward patience. And I think that's been something that's been so nice today, is I've just been able, after sort of fighting the urge to rush and do things quickly to a deadline, to just sit and experiment and not worry, like genuinely not worry about the result. Even though I did think, because I paint in a way that I paint for an audience essentially, you know, I paint on YouTube, I paint in lessons, I paint in books, and And so there is that pressure I find in myself that I've given myself to get it right or do it well or be impressive, I suppose. And that's a really bad thing to have in the forefront of your mind whilst you're painting. And maybe because I'm so comfortable teaching or being on YouTube or my books and things, they feel very familiar to me. Whereas being out here with a bunch of fellow artists who, you know, don't know who I am, are all really good in their own right, just here to, you know, paint for themselves. They don't have any sense of what I do for a living. And I think that's great, to be honest, because it just means that I can be part of a gang, part of a group, and paint alongside people. And that makes me very happy. There you go. I'm pretty pleased with that. It's maintained a lightness that was really important, and it's just, yeah, it's not got too heavy, too busy, too muddy. Not a bad afternoon's work. So I wasn't brave enough to show my work because actually quite a lot of people weren't brave enough. But did you see? Someone had one of my tote bags, which was super cool. So I think I'm going to conclude that that was a real big achievement to do, because it was scary on quite a few levels. But I think if anything, it really helped me be more empathetic with people who are learning a new thing and are a bit terrified. So I'm with you there, and I hope that I'm only ever encouraging with my teaching, but there'll be even that little bit more understanding when we're having a wobble. So time to go home, and I might just add a little bit of something to those paintings when I get back, maybe.